The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WACK 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WACK 90.1 FM. The living room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are.
Culture crazy.
First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do. Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we had to say thank you to those that went before us, and we're not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say that with chest that Columbus lied. that one take a whole new meaning just now. But we must also say thank you to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, where the P this week stands for.
Well, Aaron, I just want to say peace, man.
And we're not saying peace as in pizza cake, huh?
P-E-A-C-E.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
There have been some really disturbing developments over the past 72 to 96 hours or so.
Man, say disturbing developments, yes?
Well, I also want that when we post this to YouTube, it doesn't get taken down.
Yeah, you're right. It's been a very... Yeah. The past couple of days have been... Aaron, we could talk playing 4-5. I mean,
before we talk playing, this is yours truly, Aaron868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code, and I sit here alongside my bro with no furrow, a lot of flow, always on the go and in the know.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the global stage.
Let me talk playing.
Yeah, speaking of the global stage, Aaron, man, things are happening.
Right.
And you know, it's easy to miss some of the things that are happening locally because of the attention you pay to things globally and vice versa. Aaron, this place is wild. It is wild. Things are wild. The news this week is wild. Some of the things that are making news this week, wild. I kind of get why you don't read papers. I kind of get why I need to do a little filter, because news has been a bit heavy, man. So I don't even want to play in that space. I don't want to talk about, play in that space. I feel that's a nice way to label this episode, because apparently it has some men, when they're supposed to be in training camp, they just want to go and play the fool and party.
No. It was said in a subsequent article that they did not break camp.
They didn't break camp.
They did not break camp.
So they went, but they didn't break camp, or they didn't go.
Read between the lines there.
Yeah, that's not a big between the line reader, you know. Actually, that's not true. So you know what? I right there with you. It's cool. I get it.
No, because it could have been a historical tour.
You know what? You're right.
Because of the observance which was there on that day. Juneteenth, they could have gone to a historical tour to find out more about it.
You're right.
There are so many possibilities that could exist in that space-time continuum.
All right.
But you know what did not exist within that space-time continuum? That is the Trinidad and Tobago, as I heard repeatedly on the broadcast, the Soccer Warriors Gold Cup campaign.
What? Talk to me.
There was not a high amount of goals.
The Haiti game was 1-1.
Right, and the Saudi Arabia game was 1-1 as well.
Okay.
Now, I myself am adamant, a proud supporter of Trinidad and Tobago football team, men's football team. And one question I have to ask is, we played such a vibrant style of football in the Unity Cup when we would have lost to Jamaica 3-2. We played a vibrant style of football when we came back home against St. Kitts and Nevis. In between that, yes, there were some moments where you had a question, where were them fellas doing? But where was the vibrancy in that football for these past 3 games?
I mean, playing the USA is never going to be a walk in the park.
Well, and for me, for those of you that follow football, this is probably one of the most, I don't want to say the weakest, but wasn't one of the stronger American teams that we would have faced in recent history.
But in all fairness, historically, the USA has been able to field fairly competitive teams.
Yes.
We have not always been able to do so.
Yes.
Right? Getting hit 5-0, it does take a bit of wind
rough.
out of your sails. It takes somebody wind out of your sails.
And for me, that was not a fair representation of the game which was played on that day.
All right. Well, you know better than me, because I have not seen a game since we saw the game. Remember
so
when
basically you're trying to say you didn't watch a game in a long time. Go ahead.
Right? At the end of the day, one of the reasons I don't go out of my way to look for a channel that might be streaming it or anything like that is because there's a bit of a mixed bag right now, and you don't know what you're going to get.
Correct is right. And since we're talking about mixed bags, there's another mixed bag that's going to be opened tomorrow.
Yeah, what happening tomorrow?
West Indies will be playing Australia in a home series.
Who home? Our home?
Yeah, we home.
Trinidad getting any games?
No, Trinidad is not. If Trinidad was getting games, we would have discussed this already.
But that was saying, I'm caught a bit unawares.
Yeah, but there's a home series that West Indies will be playing Australia. Since we're talking about mixed bags,
right?
Yeah, because we recently endured a whitewash to England.
No clue.
And then by the scrape of the weather, would have beat Ireland. So let's see what the mighty Australia is gonna do. Well, sorry, what we will do against the mighty Australia.
What the mighty West Indies will do against the visiting Australia. What are you doing, man?
I'll take that. But given again the mixed bag of performances which we get from the West Indies, we have to accept that it is the mighty Australia against West Indies.
You know, I'm curious. We home here, right? We have Trinidad out the airs. We have doubles on the corners. We have roti shops open. We immersed because we are here. I am curious as to what it feels like for our listeners abroad, where representation and, you know, a sense of national pride might be heavily tied to how well your sports team does. You know, a reviewer's critique of your foods, those types of things. We know you could, all right, if we lose a game, we have enough Trinidad that we could wash that down with a sea bath and a bacon shack and move on. Right? We could drive past a panyard and hear people practicing. What I'm saying is that, you know, we immersed in the mix. But what does it feel like, bro? What does it feel like when, you know, you find a channel to watch the game, or, you know, you go to a sports bar that does feature Caribbean sports, and, you know, you sit down to take a little sip of something soft, and you watch TNT struggle against a 10-man Haiti.
Right.
You know?
Honestly, no, there are times when I myself, because of working arrangements, look at the games on different streams of different from different countries.
Right.
Right. And this is not akin to the Trinidad feeling, but I have been regaling myself with the series of England against India with commentary from South Africa.
Right.
And it for me brings a sense of neutrality there. Where I support neither nation, the commentary is not biased. So it brings a sense of neutrality for me for an enticing sport, because I like my cricket. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I get it.
However, when we played America in that first game, it was the American commentary.
Yeah.
And for me, I felt insulted to an extent. Yes, we were playing poorly. Yes, the scores are about 3-0 at that point. But there's no point for the commentary to also be piling on to me as a supporter.
Right.
Now, it doesn't directly answer your question, Ricardo, as to me being able to drown the sorrows of a loss in Trini elements.
Yeah, I mean, how Ingrid and them does feel? Francis T and them.
Well, I don't want to sound bad. That is if them does even watch when Trinidad playing.
Anyway, I know they stay tuned, so I'm pretty certain by the time we watch this, you'll see the comment in the chat box.
But for me, Ingrid probably supporting, wondering when Lakers starting back.
Why you gotta go there?
No, did I lie?
And Ingrid was supposed to make a suit for you.
And it's a good thing the suit never read.
Anyway. Yeah, no, I just wonder, like, for us, we could be like, oh, Lord, here we go again, and move on. But you can imagine, it's like outside, a little representation, a little, a national pride, a little Trinity to the bone. That stuff might matter almost more outside than it does home.
Yeah, because imagine you take the trek from Minnesota down to LA to watch a Trinidad game, and you coax in a couple of your friends. Hey, my country playing.
Right.
Because you feel that sense of pride. Trinidad is going to be in LA. Let me go and watch this. So I need to keep saying it like I hear it on TV. The soccer warriors
of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah.
And then you go there and the team not even stringing 5 passes together.
Yeah.
How you go and explain that to your brethren that probably from, I don't even know, Mexico?
Or worse yet too, your Jamaican partner who went with you. Billing Jones. Because Jamaica wasn't going to take no 5.
That's the quality of the football, eh? Nah,
they will be taking Carnival.
Wow. And I'm glad you brought that up.
I didn't bring up anything.
No. I was looking at another podcast, I think earlier on Monday.
Is that the one featuring the celebrity?
No, I watched that one last week.
All right.
The person actually did a follow-up to that podcast episode with Kenny and did another episode talking about the work that Kenny did.
Right.
Again,
so anyway, proper flaws, man.
Yeah, sometimes. As if he's one to smell them. Right? So I was watching an episode and they were talking about the relationship between Trinidad and Jamaica and how it's like a big brother, big sister kind of hatred, kind of love, kind of vibe, kind of thing.
Sibling rivalry.
Right? And they went on to talk about the fact that Trinidad and Tobago has the most authentic carnival experience within the world. And there was talk of the usual talk of losing the authenticity to commercialization and blah, 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 blah. But then the true issue came up that maybe the reason why people can't afford to come to Trinidad or the cost of coming to Trinidad and Tobago Carnival is so high is because of geographical location.
How deep south we are?
How deep south we are? He said, yeah. It might cost you cheaper to get from Miami to Jamaica.
Right.
Than from Miami to Trinidad. Or New York to Jamaica. New York to Trinidad. The cost will be different. So persons have to start to, as we say all the time, look at all the factors involved before you cast aspersions on which one is bigger or better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Carnival is not your thing anymore.
No, I'm just not privy enough to the conversation to say I'm gonna jump in and opine. But I mean, distance don't stop anybody from going anywhere else. You ever hear Australia struggling to get people to come to cricket because of how far they are?
No.
What is it? It's easier to go England and to go India and watch cricket, but it don't stop anybody from doing it.
I think persons just like to, as you say, opine on things they don't have the proper information to opine on. But then again, if people don't opine on things they don't have the proper information to opine on, then we will not be able to have conversations about the misinformed.
Do you eat pineapple?
Yes, I do.
Do you eat pineapple on a pizza?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, cool. No, because as you say, no pine, and I was like, pine or no pine? That was the question. That's the question.
Whether it is noble art. But again, there's so much going on. And we're trying to stay away from it all this week because
I want to speak about nothing. I don't.
You know, we could actually have like a 40-minute conversation about absolutely nothing that will be loaded with bits of information.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the bar that we've set, Aaron. We do have a caliber of conversation. You know, how fixed our focal points are, it is debatable. But we do generally get around to an underlying theme.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly don't want to speak too geopolitically this week. I don't want to speak local politically this week. I good. You know, I some are jokes. Aaron, you have any jokes? You have like any jokes? Like just off the tip of your tongue?
No.
I think that's incorrect. Every joke you tell is off the tip of your tongue, but moving on.
And I'm gonna say, but jokes are not my forte, actually.
What is your forte?
My forte, let's see.
And is it 40 or 40? Anyway, go ahead.
40. I think it's 40. My forte is silent and low blues with a high linguistic level.
Silent and low blues at a high linguistic level. I am curious as to what that even means. No, I should have had a coffee.
No, you're throwing jabs, but you're throwing jabs in proper English.
Oh, okay. So kind of highfalutin pugilism then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, pugilist is a boxer.
Thought so.
Yeah. Because they're highfalutin.
Not high gluten.
Oh my. Anyway, I cannot drop the bar when I bring up this whole pineapple talk. So you pretty much allow you could share what you want into the conversation right now.
No, yeah. But really and truly, there's one thing that continues in the country that we really need to pay attention to.
Traffic.
And beside traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Refuse. As the rainy season continues to persist, and sometimes it persists 6.875 days of the week.
I have clothes that I wash and hang up, and like that rain is just wait. It's just wait until you're going in the bathroom. Or you're washing with it's something that's just gonna delay you getting outside by 12 or 15 extra seconds.
And then it's just bad. And for some reason, I find every day rain falls in Marble and environs around 3:30 to 4 o'clock. But anyhow,
Beautiful place, man.
But anyhow, the main reason I'm saying this, refuse, aka garbage,
Trash.
trash. We spoke about this on prior episodes, and I'm touching on this again today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, feathers and masqueraders, children of all ages, don't litter. It continues to annoy me. I was going to say something else there. It continues to annoy me. And I'm going to speak specifically about one specific drain in Debe.
In the bay?
In Debe. That drain is behind a popular barbecue place in Debe. That it shares its name. Right? At the start of the rainy season in June, which was about 3 weeks and a little more ago, when the rain started to come down, I used to see a plethora of bottles.
Plethora.
Be it glass, be it plastic, whatever it may be, coming down on the drain behind. And at the slightest instance of rainfall, that drain would flood, causing water to gather within the vicinity of this food place. Now, I don't know if it's the owners cleaned it. I don't know if it's the corporation cleaned it. I don't know if it's the neighbors who came together and cleaned it. But on Sunday last, when I was driving past the same place in the bay,
Sunday last while you were driving past.
The drain was cleaned. But yet still the volume of water which was coming down was too much for the drain. So it wasn't backed up as much as it was before, where you was seeing for at least 500 feet going back up the drain, water was backed up. The backup was just by the path that passing under the road. Yet still, there was water backed up in the food place. Which leads to other questions which I will not ask.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the flavor. Maybe it's married. Maybe that's why chicken is tastes so good.
I never had food from there. Never.
Hey, I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Right? But what I'm saying is, what you do up drain, hamburgs those down drain.
You know, up drain and down drain, I could stick with it. I like it. I approve. Yeah.
So if your house, the back of your house is on the border in the drain, don't just throw the bottle over the wall or through the fence. Don't leave the leaves that you rake up in your yard by the fence and let it wash down.
Right.
I know that garbage, the garbage vans, the garbage trucks, the garbage vehicles, they don't pick up leaves and stuff like that if you have it in a bag or grass.
So if you bag grass, they don't...
No, they don't pick it up.
Okay.
Right?
So who's responsible for moving bags of grass from...
And that's my next point. When you have grass or leaves or shrubs or whatever it may be, call your corporation and let them know.
What they just do with it?
I think they stick it to the dump.
That's not what garbage trucks do with the other stuff?
Yeah, but apparently there's a difference between house refuse, yard refuse, and then heavy debris. So the garbage truck that passes, or is supposed to pass 1 to 2, probably 3 times per week, they pick up house refuse.
We have a very regular garbage pickup on the side. I'm pretty certain that where I live, there's an overlap because it feels as if garbage pass every day. And sometimes I hear more than one truck for the day.
Right? But if you have the grass and the bush and these different things, call your corporation. Find out where's the schedule and put it out in time with the schedule. Because now if you just pour the bag or you pour the bin or whatever it is with it, now you're going and invite a next pest into the area. Because flooding is a pest already, yeah? No, not brownie. You're going and invite mal on the mosquito.
Okay. I'm listening.
Because remember, if you pour out a bin and the water garden in the bin because rain falling, and stagnant waters are breeding the ground for mosquitoes. Did we not learn that in primary school?
Particularly, I'm curious as to why you choose Marlon.
I don't know.
The name for the mosquitoes.
You want me to say Marcus?
Well, I mean, I know more Marcus to be bloodsuckers than Marlons.
Whoa.
I just saying that. Anyway, well, I was just curious as to why I picked that name.
Michael.
Because the Marlons I know are stellar examples of humanity. Wouldn't want to name mosquitoes after like a good name. Like how you would feel if you hear about Ricardo the rodent? You'd be like, nah, that's that kind of dragon that the name did.
Yeah, it is. But I was just going with the first one that came to mind.
Ricardo the chupacabra.
You remember? Anyway, I can't say that on air.
Why bring it up then? Why do the people name that? Why, ladies and gentlemen, right? While Aaron is clearly trying to exclude you all from the conversation, I would like to include you all in the conversation. All right. As soon as I find out whatever it is he's not going to talk about, I am going to snitch. I am going to bust the files and tell you all. I got you. Thank you very much.
If you really want to know what the inside joke is, you need to go back and watch all the different episodes on YouTube. I'm sure somewhere inside there, the Chupacabra comment is there.
Hey, when I say people talking about capybaras though.
Marshall video party.
Serious?
Yeah, because he had a capybara in the video.
I should watch the video. I've never seen the video.
You should.
Good?
You'll see some familiar faces.
Yeah, how much capybara you think I'll recognize?
I was talking about the people in the video.
Oh, that makes more sense.
If you could recognize a capybara. But anyway, back to the whole mosquito thing.
I got you really
tried it.
Yeah, enable me a little bit there. I'll take it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you had to call your corporation. I remember there was a time my neighbor and I we got into a spat about it. I put some garbage, some heavy waste in front by me.
It wasn't pugilistic, was it?
No. It was just a war of words.
Oh, okay.
Right? And she was upset that I put the refuse in front by me and say while I was waiting for the heavy waste to come. And I called them, and I think within 24 hours, they came and collected it.
Right.
So, what I'm saying is, find out the schedule. If you don't know the schedule, call the corporation, find out, and pour the garbage in time with that.
Cool. I do have a question though. Who won the verbal versus the combat of communication?
I did.
Noted. I would say, Aaron, when you argue with the neighbors, nobody wins.
No, and the argument was based on the fact that I put the garbage on my side of the divide now.
So you put heavy garbage on your side of the divide.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were upset because it was making in front look like an eyesore.
It was unsightly. Okay. Yeah. I could
and I told them I understand that. However, where else was I supposed to put it?
On their side?
On their side? on the corner for it to become a neighborhood eyesore, and then I become the pariah of the neighborhood? Come on, no.
Somebody is the pariah of the neighborhood, you say?
Pariah? Yeah.
Was that pariah?
Correctly.
Emphasis.
Emphasis on the wrong syllable.
On the wrong syllable.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, it's what time is it where you guys are? What is it dinner time yet, Aaron? What time do you have dinner?
I don't.
You don't do dinners?
No, I'm on a very strict diet from now till the end of next month.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Question the wisdom of it, but I hear you.
If I do have dinner, however, I try to eat before 7 p.m.
Before 7 p.m. So, were you to listen to the living room, you would try to wrap up your dinner by the time you get perilously?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm thinking, I'm a bit inconsistent when it comes to doing dinner. There are times when I have
and
lunch
breakfast
for
and
dinner.
lunch.
Whoa, I don't play with my breakfast. I do not play with breakfast. I don't play with either of my breakfasts.
You have two
Yes.
breakfasts.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, I generally do 2 breakfasts. One heavy and one light. In whichever order, just most convenient at that point in time. Yeah, you do second breakfast?
No.
It is quite a delight. Second breakfast does come in handy, especially when you're working on a budget. Right? Sometimes you have second breakfast for lunch, and then you have lunch when you get home. And then you have a light dinner, which could be third breakfast, which is burner. But that's a whole other conversation.
Bruno.
Yeah.
What
Because,
I would say though is
Mhm.
recently I have like whatever time my last meal is, I time at least 14 hours to my next meal, the first meal of the following day.
Oh, you doing one of those intermittent fasting things?
No, it's not intermittent fasting.
What is it?
But how I try to do it, I try not to eat too early in the morning, so that first meal will carry me to at least until about 1 o'clock thereabout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you pretty much do all of your eating within an 8 to 10 hour window.
But it's not intermittent fasting, no. I'm not doing the intermittent fasting thing.
But what are you doing?
I just try to control my. If I eat too early, then I'll end up eating 4 meals for the day as opposed to 3 now.
Why do you think something is wrong with eating 4 meals versus 3?
Because I do them light meal thing, boy, brother man, right? As man, when I eating.
Sir, I'm seriously questioning not just the wisdom but the logic of your course of actions. I said course. Most meals are made of courses. That is actually a very well played and unintended pun. What I'm saying is, you sure you know what you're doing? You sure you know what you're doing?
Most times, yeah.
All right, I hear you. See, I bring up that because we don't recognize how much our diet is tied to our mood. And a lot of the times we talk about diet being tied to our health, the brain gut connections and all those things. But I don't think we understand how much being fed benefits our temperament.
Oh, yes.
I'm just saying that we tend to have a little more patience when we're not hungry.
Correct.
All right, less irritable.
We not just hungry, hydrated.
Hydrated as well. That's right. That's
AKA
right.
Once I do have my coffee and a bad.
So this entire episode I've been coffeeless, and I'm doing no, I lied to tell you, I could really go and drink my coffee. But yeah, no, it just hit me that sometimes we over science the thing.
Mm-hmm.
We just over science the thing. All right, there's a story of a man who's hearing footsteps, like hooves in the street, clop 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 clop. And he was convinced that it was a zebra, that a zebra had escaped from somewhere and was walking up the streets.
Clocks. Okay.
Right? Sometimes it's just a horse. Sometimes the thing that we perceive to be this overly complicated scenario is a lot simpler than it can be. We
Correct.
talk a lot about mental health in here. We talk about things like courtesy and civic responsibility and being a better citizen and all of these things. Aaron, you have any idea how much easier it is to be polite and considerate when you're fed? Like, you know how much attention you can pay to your brothers and sisters, to your neighbors in society, when you're not wondering what you could get to eat now, or where open, or if you have enough money for it.
Let me add to that. We always talk of this saying that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
But for the cup to not be empty, it had to be full, and
No, that is a philosophical way of looking at it. It don't have to be full for it to not be empty. There's a space in between where it is occupied but not necessarily filled. But go on,
because
actively listening.
is the glass half empty or half full, and all those
But it has
philosophical
some.
question. But it has something in it, which goes back to you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
So to put all that into something more philosophical, you can't speak well or handle situations well if you are not taken care of.
Yeah, there are schools of thought. Yeah.
And sometimes that taken care of could be drinking a glass of water, having something to eat, so having something on your stomach, be it a hot cup of tea, a cup of coffee, whatever it may be.
Yep. We big people here. Nobody who listening to this program right now should be offended by the honesty of this next segment here. Aaron, do you know how many times you've dealt with people who have had headaches because they have not had a glass of water? They are curt, irritable, sometimes unresponsive, and it is simply because they did not drink water. Do you know how many people that you are dealing with on a daily basis, that the attitudes that you are dealing with is because they are holding back farts, pums, gas, right? And because they can't release comfortably in the space that they are, they might just be bloated. And now they have to be mindful of not embarrassing themselves biologically. So their attention is no longer on dealing with you and whatever your required services is on them and the preservation of their dignity. You know how many people we dealing with are backed up, haven't had a comfortable bowel movement for the day or maybe even for the day before. And just the tension that is putting on their bodies, they don't have enough capacity to consider your well-being. Like what I'm saying is plain talk, simple as it is, big to big, right? We're all adults here. A lot of people that we're dealing with don't even have the basics working in their favor right now. They might be hungry, thirsty, bloated, they might be backed up, right? Or they might have an irritable stomach and they should not have put milk in the tea this morning and have a little belly bubble going on and in the middle of a meeting. What I'm saying is, the reality is we have expectations that people are going to be able to deal with us, on a base level of courtesy and mindfulness. But we have no real clue what's going on with these people's internals.
Or let me go even more real. Since we're being real here.
We're being real.
You're sitting down in traffic for 3 hours, because that's like the norm on a morning, sometimes here in Trinidad and Tobago. And when they get to the office, you want to bombard somebody with work as soon as they walk through the door. But that person may just simply want to get to the toilet.
That's right. Many people we deal with that have migraines and we don't know that that's what they're going through. How many people have things like PCOS? How many women on their periods, or dealing with different phases in terms of things like menopause and perimenopause, or irregular cycles. How many men out here working on an empty belly? How many women out here working on an empty belly? How many people walk half of the distance because they didn't have the passage to reach where they're going? What I'm saying is, like, dude,
there's a lot.
We want people to be mindful, and I don't want to say that being mindful coming from a privileged position, but a lot of people not starting a race from the same line.
Correct. Correct.
So I'm just gonna ask the listeners, the viewers, the people who listening, to see how poorly our job we did of editing this week or not. I'm just saying.
Why are you talking about Kenny?
Don't call your name 3 times. You just show up. All right. I really want us to try, especially in the season that we're in. Like, people are overloaded. They have kids that they're worried about. They have parents that they're worried about. Siblings that they're worried about. Their selves, their lives, their health, bills to pay. Like, people up against a lot. So sometimes, and I'm going to defend something here that was normally critique, Aaron. But sometimes you walk in a maxi and you say morning. You walk in by the ATM or the bank line and you say good morning and people answer you. Half of the time it's not that these people impolite, you know. Sometimes they're just so caught up in what it is that they have to navigate that they may even hear you, you know. You know, so
I'll always laugh at it. I always say, like, if I that's one of my triggers when people don't respond.
Mm-hmm.
However, recently I've come to the realization that it's not the response that matters, it's just that you said it.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be the polite thing for somebody.
You just shift the atmosphere a little bit by what you could contribute to it, man. I get it.
But it is really tough out there because, as you said, in the geopolitical landscape, there's a lot taking place.
Mm-hmm.
In the locality political landscape, there's a lot taking place. And sometimes it's in the socio-economic home politics, there's a lot taking place. In the relationship and all politics, there's a lot taking place.
The relationship in all politics is, there's something else too.
Right? So we really had to remember to be kind with our fellow man. And also, not just with the fellow man that you're seeing every day, but be kind in the comments too now. Yeah, because, and I go and draw a reference to something that's taking place in a group that I'm in. Right?
You're gonna draw it with though?
A pen, obviously.
Red ink or blue?
Red ink is offensive.
Red ink is offensive. I thought red ink was corrective.
Red ink is offensive. If you write a letter to me in red ink, I am balling that up and pelting it back at you.
So that's all it takes. Get you to mind
yes.
me. It's assault me, right? That's assault.
If I pelt a paper at you, that is assault.
It's a paper. Anyway, you were saying something.
Yeah. Again, Ricardo, you know, this man is really the worst sometimes, you know.
I'm a delight. Right.
No, you are not. But yeah, so we have a gentleman within our group that are in that all he's come in the group and say, regardless of the discussion that is taking place, is good day.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your views on this? Good day. What you think about so by so? Good day. And would never weigh in on any kind of discussion. And I happened to bounce him up over this weekend. And he was explaining to me why he doesn't get involved in any discussions. And it's purely based on the fact that the views that he shares on some of the topics that we discuss are not the mainstream views of the average person. So he doesn't want to weigh in on a topic because his difference of opinion may cause more harm than good to a discussion.
Interesting.
However, if because he doesn't have the time to sit and be messaging constantly to justify his difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of getting involved in a discussion which he does not have the time to have, he just acknowledges his presence by saying, good day.
All right. Okay. Well, that is a lot that we could unpack there.
Right? And it put in, now I used to get down on him for why I don't talk or why I don't respond or whatever the case is, why I'm not involved in the discussions. The purpose of the group is for healthy discussion. But after he explained that to me, I had to take a step back and be like, not everybody wants to have the discussions that you want to have when you want to have it.
When you want to have it is important, especially relationship and all.
Sometimes even geopolitically or local politically. We gotta get to him for that, huh?
Yeah, no, don't worry. We'll get one.
Right? But all I'm saying is, sometimes have a conversation with the person that you think not responding or they're not getting involved just ask them the question as we do when we have guests here, and occasionally Ricardo and I do ask ourselves these questions or ask each other the questions. We're not asking you, where's the scene jelly bean, or where's the word hummingbird, or what's the gist physicist. We ask people, how are you? And we're not asking from a place I'm macroing. I don't really care about how much zabuka I have on the tree.
I do. I am about that avocado toast life.
Okay then. Or we're not just asking for how much mangoes you have. If you have half-ripe Julie mangoes, please drop them by the station. And as a matter of fact, send a message on Instagram, DJ Aaron868, and tell me pass for the Julie mangoes, half-ripe.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm saying is, we're not asking for a place I'm macroing. You have to genuinely ask the person, how are you? Because I saw something the other day, I think it was a tweet, or I don't know what they call them things on X now, or a post or whatever. I saw a tweet that said, yes, I'm your friend. I can't help you. I can't be your umbrella right now because I'm navigating my own storm.
Yeah.
Check in with people sometimes before you offload on people.
That is super considerate of you, Aaron. Extraordinarily.
Or, as I have practiced on the few times that Cardo actually answers when I call.
Hear this.
Do you have a couple minutes you could spare? You may not be checking in to see if everything okay at that point in time, but you're asking if this is an appropriate time for you to have a conversation about something.
Do you know that simply asking that question exponentially increases the odds of being received positively? Like, if you ask me if I have time, if I did not, because you considered it, I would make it. That is, I'm sorry, we are in an age where people are confusing availability and accessibility, you know. Not just because you have access to me means I'm available. That is, he's more up there, and this WhatsApp life is changing things too. Like, you have somebody on WhatsApp, so that means you could message whatever time. And then if you message me a certain hour and I don't reply to you until the next day, that's well within my rights to do.
No, here the catcher. I think I mentioned this before. I have WhatsApp open behind this recording, right? I have 192 unread chats. 192. Some spanning back to as far as probably 2020. So I'm gonna go as far back as I want. 2023.
I'm curious as to why you wouldn't just take your time and close off the ones that you know you're never going to get back to.
Because sometimes I don't want them say that I read it.
I'm saying that's kind of avoidant though.
Some of the messages I really just don't even want to answer.
I know. So this whole series of sentences has been about that, actually. Why not? I get it.
Maybe at some point in time I might.
I'm saying don't have any, you know, but I think 192 unaddressed conversations. I mean, just say.
Have I ever not answered your messages?
No, but I'm important. I am important.
What makes you think that you are more important than the man that messaged me in 2023?
Because you're not looking at any of these videos. That dude is not recording with you. Right?
Nah, but really and truly, guys, there's a lot taking place around the world. And sometimes you have to take a moment to just do nothing, or talk about nothing, or watch nothing, or read nothing to benefit your mental health.
You can take a step back. In fact, I apologize. No, I could have been considerably funnier this video. This episode could have been a whole holy belly laughing episode. I feel I'm gonna line up for that next week, God willing.
Next week we are. Oh yes, we still have episodes coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. Just saying. You wanna let me know when you're looking for me to take the baton, eh?
Let me tell you the date just now.
Yeah, let's set the lineup.
Yeah, let's set a lineup. My last episode of the living room is going to be the 15th of 15th still cutting it close, right? I say the 8th, so I have 2 more weeks.
All right, and then it'll be, this is yours truly, Ricardo and Aaron, the social stage on a global stage. Blah 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 blah. Living room. Oh, blah 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 blah.
I don't.
Culture is my code.
No, you can't use my phrase.
I just gotta change your name. It's like we copying and testing, though. I just gotta change your name on the top of the paper, you know. Guys, culture is my code. That love is the currency, so spend some today.
Well, for that period, love is really the currency. So the 8th, yeah, my last will be the 8th.
For the season,
yeah. And then I should come back on like the 12th.
Yeah.
But
you all know that
seems doable.
Yeah, coming on to the last quarter is generally when we will change up the look a little bit, you know. Get the place a little refreshed, try 1 or 2 things technically. I'm making a pledge that we're going to improve the quality of presentation for the next season of the living room. It's about time to grow up a little bit. You know, the whole bedroom podcaster feel has been nice, but I believe that by now Aaron and I have earned enough of your respect that we could start showing up with a little more pizzazz. That we won't be a program that you tolerate just because you waited to get to this month's big band. Mm-hmm. But because what we bring in, we're gonna bring a whole new level to the living room. I am ready to get my shine. Get my shine. Let's bring you guys something that could compete for the flagship program of the station. Yeah. Because I realized Kenny recording good this last rounds. He's the podcast king. We had to step up.
Yeah, we had to up the game a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, we had to up the game because if he having them kind of high level conversations with people and think, what are gonna keep us around for? So you're gonna.
Well, he had no choice but to keep us around. Well, that's cool.
Refurbish the living room a little bit. You go ahead. You say no, but anyway, stay not at big people business.
Well, the amount of renovations are doing, best I do some renovations in the living room too.
That was I saying. There's like a seasonal shift occurring, and not everybody will be sensitive to it. But for who is aware, adjust your sails, catch the breeze. Things changing around you, man, and that's alright too. Things don't get better unless something change, and nothing will change unless something happen. So don't let it happen and throw you off.
Yeah.
Yes, should write that down. You know, that might be my new.
With that being said, we are perilously close to the hour of 7 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm back on Friday night again.
Ooh.
Yeah, last Friday of the month. So you know what that means? 2 hours of Kaiso on a Friday. Might be 3, I never know.
Josh and I could storm?
Well, come with snacks.
I'm pretty certain we could navigate that.
We will discuss further.
Yeah. I realize I like the little education I just get on a Friday night with the music and thing now.
Yeah, we do not calypso not alphabet, but we're just doing calypso this Friday.
I brand up.
Nah, brother, man. I know fine for last sawdust.
You know, there was a clever retort there or another, but I'll save it. We only have a comedy show.
No, I don't think we could have a comedy show. We are not funny.
You not funny. I am funny. I dial my funniness down, way down.
And I know the same height, probably, and look of Junior Lee just with a beard, but we in the same.
Hey, Junior Lee has body positive confidence, way. That man will take off his jersey
anywhere. I like him. And you know what I love about him is his relatability. If I see him, I'll tell him, hey, Dan, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
Mhm.
And he would always respond with, neither we ain't growing again. But we both had to keep pushing on the path that we pushing.
He's a positive dude, you know.
Yeah, I like him. And I realize, for people who in that social space where they meet and greet a lot of people all the time, he tends to remember you.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was amazed by that. And he's always calling me by my government name.
Nah, boy, Aaron Millions Williams, boy.
I wish. Let's play a lotto tonight or something.
I'm not mad at you winning. I'm not mad at you winning.
Yeah, if I win, we all win.
This is yours truly, Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage and the global stage. Thank you for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. All right. All right. Go ahead now. Go ahead, Mr. Winner.
This is yours truly, Aaron868. I remind each and every time that calls is my code, and I always remind you that numbers encourage you to spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys. Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band. Yeah.
They want to say, why we don't just, I want to tell you, let's just do an episode where we just build we kicks. Right? Let me just build we jokes.
We had to do that in the studio, though. I'll see if I could go in on the 8th.
Before your sabbatical, you hiatus.
Yeah, before my hiatus.
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 Yeah.
To quote the if you know, you know.
YK.
Yeah. Right, so give it luck to the True Nation Station. We out.